What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Corey, your host. If you've listened to a couple of my videos, the first one is free. If this is a second one or a third one, your payment is boop. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can know when I post a new video. I'm not a substance abuse counselor. I'm not a doctor. I'm no medical personnel. I'm just a person who has learned through the school of hard knocks. And I'm just a guy on my lunch break, making sure that I stay clean and I don't use KRATOM. And I use this channel as my accountability mirror to do just that, because I'm not going to come on here and lie to you guys. I'm not going to go take KRATOM and then come on here and act like I'm 13 days clean, which I actually am 13 days clean off of KRATOM as of today. So tomorrow on Saturday will officially be 2 weeks with no KRATOM. How am I feeling? Physically, I feel completely fine. Mentally and emotionally, the last couple of days, for whatever reason, have been somewhat of a struggle. And I think that could have to do with the fact that it's been a little while now since I fed that pig. That pig is starting to worry that he's going to starve and that he is going to die off if I do not feed him relatively soon. So more recently, I've been having that pig just gnawing in my ear. And I talked about this yesterday. I had some moments yesterday, specifically prior to 12 o'clock, where the pig was really talking to me. And the pig was really talking to me a couple of minutes ago when I left work to leave on my lunch break. I'm 5 minutes up the street right now. 5 minutes up the street from a KRATOM shop, or a head shop where I could actually buy some KRATOM. I'm not gonna, but I'll say something like that on here, and then a lot of times people jump on the comments, avoid the temptation, don't get tempted, this, don't be tempted, don't give in to the temptation, this and that. I'm not, but one of the reasons that people like this channel is because I'm very transparent on this channel. I talk out my feelings. I talk out my thoughts to you guys. And I do that in hopes that you guys, who many of you are dealing with the same sort of struggles to something like KRATOM, can hear me, hear my story, hear my representation of how, all of this process is taking place for me, and you can feel empowered. And you can learn to identify your feelings better, learn to identify those triggers that you might come across better, because triggers are a huge thing when you're coming off of something like KRATOM. There's going to be times where you could go and you could get that, you'll be close to some head shop where you used to go and get KRATOM or whatever the case is, and you'll drive near there and you'll be like, that memory of you going there and getting that KRATOM will pop in your head. And for that very moment, even if it's just for that moment, you might have a 5-minute struggle where you're just like, nope, keep it on the road. Keep it on the road. No, keep it on the road. Keep it on the road. I tend to embellish things a little bit on here. I think sometimes people think that I'm really struggling, like really bad, because I tend to joke about things, things that are serious. That's just kind of my way of dealing with, complicated sort of issues in my life. So I tend to embellish. It's not that bad, and there's not been one time in the last 2 weeks that I've drove up to and sat in the parking lot of a head shop just trying to talk myself into not going in. I haven't had to do that. I haven't done that. So I don't want anybody to think that, I'm really, really struggling, really, really bad, and you better get yourself out there, bro, and go to AA or NA because you seem like you're gonna use any day. No, No, I'm not. Um, I'm committed. I'm committed to staying off of it. Will I stay off of it forever? Probably not. Um, Now, do I plan to, you know, look, let me put it this way. I would be very shocked if I didn't at some point in the future, if, say, my wife and I go on vacation somewhere or something like that, and I'm off work for several days, and I want to get myself some Kratom. I wouldn't be shocked to see myself do that, to be honest with you. And you know what? Maybe that's just the addict mentality just calling me back. In fact, it likely is just the addict mentality um, calling me back. But, you know, I want to be able to enjoy the fruits of what, and I've said this from the very beginning. I'm coming off of Kratom because Kratom, especially on a regular, daily, ongoing basis, has a huge problem for me. I had the same issue with, pain pills back in the day. And, it's one of those things where when I finally got clean off of the pain pills and was off of, was finished with any withdrawals and had been, going on about my business and living my life and whatever for several months after that, there were times, in the following years, months, whatever, that I used pain pills a handful of times, but I never got back hooked on pain pills, if that makes sense. I never got to a point where I was consistently using them, and then I was going through withdrawals when I was stopping, all that stuff. And that's kind of where I'm at with Kratom. And listen, there are going to be, I'm pretty sure just by saying this, I'm ready. Bring the comments. I always have somebody from either NA or AA pop up and they'll say something. You can't do that. That's a slippery slope. If you use anything that's a mind-altering substance, you're going to eventually, go back to it. Your body has an aversion and an allergy to that, and you can't do that. I'm probably going to get some of that. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't see myself going for the rest of my life and never touching Kratom again. Now, I can see myself going for the rest of my life and making sure that I'm only touching it every so often, or like maybe once a weekend or something like that. I do see myself doing that. And I did that with pain pills, and I stuck to that, and I promised myself that I would do that because I never wanted to get back to a point where I was physically dependent upon them. And I never have been. It's been almost 20 years. And there's been, at least a handful of times, maybe a couple of handfuls of times where I've taken pain pills, and I absolutely did not take those pain pills and be like, oh, I'm hooked again. I got to go back on it. I got to go. And I could have, I could go to a doc. It's been, 15 years since I've doctor hopped, so I could easily go to a doctor this afternoon and, complain of some, I've had 2 hernia surgeries in my life. I could easily go see somebody and complain of pain there and probably get put back on some sort of narcotic medication if I kept pushing for it. I could easily do that. People who have had surgeries can do stuff like that, and I could. I'm not gonna, because I don't ever want to be back there again, right? So I will be lying, and I'm all about transparency and honesty on this channel. I would be lying if I sat here and told you guys that I will never touch Kratom again. Like Donald Trump. Never. Never touch Kratom again. No, I'm not saying that. I think I got to be off of it for a good while, at least. And when I say off of it, I mean completely off, where I'm not even dabbling in it. And I plan to give it a while. 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. I don't know. I'm going to give it a while, though, because I want to, give my brain time to kind of heal up and stuff like that. And anyway, that's all I'm doing right now. I'm just yapping. I appreciate all the encouragement yesterday. I was talking about yesterday, I didn't know how much longer I was going to do the channel. I didn't know if I would continue doing the channel. And, you know, what I thought would happen, happened. A lot of people jumped on, oh, keep doing it. You should keep going. It's really helped me out a lot. It's really, and I love that. I'm very appreciative of that. And I do love helping people. And I'm so glad that it's helping all you guys. And I had people, you know, throw out some good ideas. Well, you know, just stop doing it so often. Just post a couple of days a week, or, you know, whatever. And with that, you know, I don't know whether I'll do that or not. I may, in fact, start making the videos a little shorter and stuff like that, which I am on my lunch break, you know, just a guy on my lunch break, right? And my company requires you to take a lunch break, ironically enough. I tried to opt for just not even taking a lunch break and just leaving an hour earlier in the evenings, and I was not afforded that opportunity. They're rather strict about that sort of thing, so I was not able to do that. So I have to take a lunch break, but I bring my lunch every day. Look, that's my lunch. And I'm a super like major health nut. Everything that's in here right now is super healthy. So I'm not a typical lunch break person. I'm not the kind of person that as soon as lunch break gets here, I run up the street to some restaurant and sit down and eat this big meal. Or as soon as my lunch break comes, you know, I run up to, you know, a McDonald's or some fast food drive-through and pull through and get some food. I don't do that. You know, I bring my own food because I want to have certain dietary restrictions that I like to adhere by. So that's why I sit here on my lunch break every day, and it's like, dude, what are you doing on your lunch break? I mean, it's your lunch break. Are you not eating lunch? Like, dude, I've eaten plenty already today. You know, everything's been super healthy. I've eaten tuna right out of the can. I've eaten pineapple. I've eaten a small bag of almonds. What else have I eaten this morning? Today's Friday, so my company buys all of the employees donuts on Friday morning. So I ate a cream-filled donut. This is my cheat day. Friday is always my cheat day. I'll eat a donut, and I did this morning. So I've had a few things to eat. So, you know, this is my time to talk to you guys. I'll snack a little more this afternoon when, you know, when I go back to work. Man, I'm just kind of going all over the place today. I have no plan, absolutely no plan for this video. Just talking to you guys. Yeah, the pig's kind of been yelling at me here recently, especially the past couple of days. I have been struggling a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, and you know, I wonder too if sitting here talking about KRATOM every day is not a good move. You know, I had somebody ask me the other day, do you think it's a good idea to be counting days? Indicating, well, he was indicating that by counting the days, each day that he's off, it kind of makes him, it takes his mind back there, you know, it makes him think of KRATOM, I guess, or makes him think of using, or just KRATOM in general. And that's a fair statement. You know, I can kind of understand that. You know, for me, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I feel like if I stopped doing the channel, you know, and then I just sat here twiddling my thumbs on my lunch break, I would probably eventually be more tempted to run up the street and grab myself a KRATOM product, you know. So that's kind of the way I feel about that. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but you know, everyone's different. And if that's something that he sees as kind of a trigger for him, I can absolutely understand that. I mean, it does kind of make sense. You know, if you're sitting talking about it every day, kind of makes you think of it, right? And puts you in the mind of KRATOM and using KRATOM. I did have a guy named Nicholas. I didn't print out any comments or anything like that. today, but I did have a guy named Nicholas ask me if I would address hair issues. I'm assuming maybe he's talking about hair loss or hair thinning. The only reason I'm assuming that that's what he's talking about is because I've seen before people talk about that. There have definitely been lots of reports of consistent long-term kratom use causing like either hair loss or hair thinning. And then people have talked about when they come off of kratom, they notice their hair starting to get more, you know, start to flourish more and thicken up more again and grow back, I guess. So that is actually something I have heard a lot of. Me personally, I don't think I've experienced that. I'm a 47-year-old guy and I still have all my hair. I got pretty lucky in that regard because I actually have an older brother who's only a few years older than I am, and he has some pretty serious, you know, male pattern baldness going on. I mean, he's got this whole area right here for him is, you know, starting to really go missing, I guess. Now, it's ironic because he's older than I am. He's 3 years older than I am, and I have more gray hair than he does. You know, I've got some gray coming in here and on the sides especially. So I'm more gray than he is, but I have more hair than he does. Like, I still have, you know, pretty full head of hair, and I've not noticed any hair thinning. I didn't notice it necessarily getting any worse with the use of kratom. But then again, you know, I'm 47 years old. I'm going on 50 years old. So even if you have a full head of hair, the older you get, it does kind of start thinning out in certain places. I've noticed, like, in here a little bit, like on the sides over here, I have noticed it thinning out a little bit, which is hard to tell on me because I'm a person that has, I've got 2 double crowns. I've got a double crown back here. Well, not 2 double crowns. I have a double crown with, you know, the little swirly part in your hair that the hair comes out of. I have 2 of those. Most people just have 1 and it'll be like back here. Well, I have 2 of them. I have 1 here and then 1 over here. And they actually say that people that have double crowns like that actually have more hair, thicker hair usually, which I do. My hair is much more coarse and thick than like my brother's. And then I have cowlicks. I have a cowlick here, which is why, you know, like the hair seems to be missing over here, but that's not recession. That's just, I have a cowlick right here. See? Like, this hair right here will not lay down for nothing. Well, I've got a little bit of product in it, so if I push it down like that, it'll kind of start to stay a little bit, but it naturally just goes up because I have a cowlick there. I don't have cowlicks over here. You know, this hair goes straight down. So in that sense, my hair is just all jacked up, which is why I always put product in my hair and, like, you know, spike it up like this, because if I didn't put any sort of product in my hair, and my hair would just be frizzy and just all over the place, because I have a big, like, you know, white afro, like thick bushy head of hair, right? And that's one of the reasons I keep it really, really short, because if I don't, my hair just goes all over the place, right? Which could be worse. You know, I'd rather have a lot of hair than no hair, and I would certainly rather have gray hair than no hair. So I'm not complaining. As far as the kratom, back to the kratom, you know, I've noticed a little bit of like thinning and a little bit on the sides over here, you know, but that could just have to do with my age. You know, I haven't really noticed a major difference in the health of my hair or anything like that. When I was using kratom, again, I was only using it for right around 4 years. But with that said, I have read a lot of reports and seen a lot of comments of people talking about kratom causing them to lose their hair, or either causing their hair to thin or whatever. And I've also seen where people have said when they stopped using kratom that their hair began to grow back and be thick and luscious again, right? So I think that there's definitely some merit to that. The fact that, you know, obviously with all of those people testifying that it affected their head of hair, obviously must be some truth to that somewhere. So, aside from the hair, one thing I will say that I felt like I experienced with heavy use of kratom is skin issues. Now, I have some allergies anyway, and I have some, like, I guess you call it like dermatitis, where I just, my skin will get kind of red and inflamed. Not really for any reason, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't necessarily have to run into some sort of allergen or something that causes me to break out. I'll get it like on my neck when I shave sometimes, and I'll notice my neck's kind of red and just inflamed. So I do kind of naturally just have some bitchy skin. I mean, my skin's good. I don't have like, acne or scars, but I have nice skin, but my skin does tend to get kind of flush and red at times, I guess. And that's just something, that's been that way with me all of my life, including when I was a child. I don't think that's necessarily directly related to kratom, but I will say that I think heavy use of kratom compounded the issue, because I have noticed just within the last several weeks, even before I completely came off of the kratom and I was starting to get down to the much lower amounts, I have noticed, way less reddening in my skin. I don't have eczema bad, to where it's something that's really, really obvious. I will get like some dermatitis, like on the inside of my hands, and like my palms will get, you really can't see them because of the lighting, but my palms will get really red sometimes for no reason, like especially if I have my hand on something, or I have my fist clenched, or just my hand sitting on a desk or something, and I'll lift my hand up, my hand will be like beet red. I'm like, God, dude, and that's just something I've always dealt with. But I noticed that there's a lesser amount of that since I've come down in my kratom use and then cut off the kratom use. So I've heard before that kratom can cause skin issues, can cause hair issues, people to lose their hair, stuff like that. I haven't really noticed much in terms of the whole hair issue, but I have noticed some in regards to skin. My skin seems to be, a lot better. So anyway, it's going pretty well. 13 days off of kratom. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks. I've been transparent about the fact that the last couple of days have been somewhat of a challenge for me, for whatever reason. I think the pig's just getting really, really hungry at this point, because I've definitely been starving it. And he's starting to, kind of yell at me a lot, and that's a little, that's a little disheartening, to be honest with you. And I expected it. I knew it. I knew that was part of the process, and I knew that was coming. But it's just been so long since I've, really experienced it and dealt with it, because I've been on the kratom, and then my stint with pills was, 15 years ago when I came off of those for the last time. So, if it's not something that you go through every year or every couple of years or every 3 years, you kind of forget, you kind of forget how the steps in the process, how your body and your mind tend to go through phases. Like the first week, I was like, damn, it's almost scary how easy this is. Even working on the second week, like, damn, this ain't as bad as I thought. And then finally you get to a point where it seems like it should start getting easier, right? Like, oh, well, you've been a couple of weeks now, you don't have any more physical withdrawals, you don't have any more of this, any more of that. It should conceivably be easier for you at this point. And you get to that point where you think it's going to be easier, and it actually starts getting harder. And that's part of the mind fuck around it. Last week, super simple. I barely thought about Kratom. I was just, had that go-getter sort of attitude, like, I got this, this is going great, this blah, 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 this and that and the other. And then same thing second week. Now here I am almost at 14 days, almost the 2-week mark. Now all of a sudden it's starting to get more difficult, mentally, specifically, not physically, but mentally. And again, I'm one of those people that I'm not going to, and I've had, AA and NA proponents come on here and, kind of question me on, well, because I've said before, I'm not going to stop, just because I've stopped taking Kratom, I'm not going to be one of those people who I never have a drink again, or I never take a toke of a bowl again, or whatever. Now listen, I'm not a heavy weed smoker. I literally, maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks or something like that, I'll hit it. It's always on the weekend. I never do it during the week, that sort of thing. But I'm never really around anyone that does it on a regular basis. So that's not like a trigger for me. I'm a family man. I hang around my wife, who doesn't really smoke it. She smokes it about like I do, once every couple of weeks or once a week or whatever. I don't have any friends, any immediate friends that I hang out with that are like potheads. And I'm a 47-year-old guy, 47-year-old professional. I don't have anybody in my life like that. So it's just something I rarely ever do. And, but listen, if I want to do that, or if I want to on a Saturday night, and, my mother-in-law lives here in town now. So if I want to, my wife and I want to take our son to her and let her watch my son one night while my wife and I hang out at the house, get in the hot tub a little bit, just kind of, be free of the parenting of an infant for a night, then I'm absolutely going to drink a couple of glasses of wine while I'm in the hot tub. I'm absolutely going to go outside and go up under my deck and, maybe take a hit of Chiba. I'm absolutely going to do that. I want to enjoy my life. I'm not going to be one of those people who 1000% abstains from all substances. I'm just not. I'm just being honest about that. And, a lot of people shun me for that, especially the AA and NA community. But, I'm just keeping it real. There's certain things in my life that have just never been a problem for me. And, alcohol is one of those. There's been times where I've been completely sober and I still was able to drink from time to time, and I'm able to just do that every so often, and it's one of those things where the AA and NA community are, and I hate to say this, but they are brainwashed to think that if you have an addictive mindset about one drug, that carries over into everything. You can't use anything that is a mind-altering substance. I'm sorry, dude. I don't agree with that. And you want to know why? Because alcohol does not make me feel nearly as good as an opiate does. I'm just built that way. An opiate is my demon. Okay? Alcohol, I can kind of take it or leave it. I'll have a few drinks and kind of get to where I'm relaxed and feel a little bit of a buzz, but then I don't feel a need to continue just pounding them down. I've never been that way. I mean, maybe when I was a teenager or a few times in my early 20s, I got too wasted and stuff. I've certainly been there before, but as far as drinking regularly every day on an ongoing basis, and then additionally drinking a lot at a time, that's just something I've never done and never been tempted to do. And the same thing with marijuana. I had my little stint with marijuana like in my early 20s. Ever since then, it's kind of like, I could take it or leave it. If I'm around some people who are doing it, or if I want to do it on the weekend once or whatever, that's fine. I'll do it. But it's not one of those things where, like, I gotta have it. So, that's just where I'm at. that's me. That's who I am. You know, KRATOM, that's my Achilles heel. Anything that's an opiate, that's my Achilles heel. You know, I'm I'm not gonna completely remain abstinent from everything in my life. I'm just not. I'm just not. Maybe that's dumb by me. Maybe that's true. But it is what it is, you know. So anyway, thanks for listening. I know I'm just kind of all over the place today, but hey, you know, it's just how I feel, guys. That's how I feel the last couple of days, and that's probably why my videos have been just kind of like blah 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 blah. Well, blah 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 blah, and then I'm over here, well, blah 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 blah. Well, blah, 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 and I'm just talking around my ass, and I get it. I know I am, but anyway, love you guys. Stay strong out there if you're interested in coming off of KRATOM. I created a playlist. Someone asked me to do that. They said, hey, do you have a playlist of your actual taper, like when your taper started? Because I've done these videos every day, 5 days a week, pretty much every week, since I started my taper, you know, almost a month back. And I created a playlist. So if you'll go to my playlist, you can actually see a KRATOM taper playlist in there, and it's a playlist of, I don't know how many videos it is right offhand, but you know, there's a set of videos there that starts with when I actually started the taper this last time, and it takes you all the way through my taper, how much I was cutting down. I talk about that stuff every day, the stuff I was doing to help, stuff I was doing to make it easier, how much I was tapering at a time, and then it takes you all the way through to the point where I'm off day 1, completely off day 2, 3, 4, 5, so forth and so on, you know, and then I'm still kicking it now. So anyway, I gotta go. Love you guys. Hope y'all have a great weekend. It is Friday, so I likely won't be doing any videos this weekend, but stay strong out there. Follow the blueprint. If you feel trapped and enslaved by KRATOM, get off of it. I've shown you how. I've shown you that it can be done with minimal physical and emotional disruption to your life, and you know, put the work in and get off of it. All right, love you guys. Talk to you later. All right, bye.